Hey everyone, James here from Raisley, and we're really excited today because in this little session, I get to welcome Madelaine Hardy from Giving Tuesday to talk to us all about this concept and movement called Giving Tuesday. Madelaine, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, James, for having me. I'm really excited to talk all things Giving Tuesday with you today.
We're excited to listen and hear the insights. Now, for those who may not know what Giving Tuesday is, let's start at the foundations. Tell us what's Giving Tuesday? How did it begin? How's it grown? All about the movement. Talk to us. What's going on?
Let's start at the beginning. 2012,
Yep.
two of our co-founders had an idea which turned into a movement. Those are two words that usually need explanation, so I'll go a little bit deeper
Yep.
into them.
Very
Um,
cool.
so they were looking at the calendar. They were looking at the calendar, and here in the States, as many people now know, we have many moments of massive consumption. Think
Mm.
your Black Fridays, your
Yep.
Cyber Mondays, these days that people wait. They know that the deals are coming. They know that whatever they want to buy is going to go on sale and they buy it then. So they thought to themselves, why isn't there a day just like that with the same kind of power and momentum, but where we all get together and we give? We don't
Mm.
just get together. We get together, we learn about our local causes, we learn about the work that our nonprofits are doing, we learn about the gaps that they're filling, and we do so collectively.
Yep.
So back in 2012, when you had a great idea, you usually brought it to Twitter. Twitter is now a thing of the past. We're not tweeting anymore, but the notion was there. People started loving it. And many years
Yeah.
later, we are now a global movement with partners in over 100 countries, Raisley being one of them,
Yeah.
in
Awesome.
Australia and New Zealand, of course. And these partners, they bring the movement to their countries, to their languages, to their cultures, to the causes that move their people. They
Mm.
create their own logos. It's completely decentralized, and we are there not just to celebrate fundraising, which
Yep.
of course it's become the largest giving day in the world. So that's
Yep.
pretty good, I would say.
That's
But we
pretty good.
are actually there to support and to celebrate all kinds of giving. So think fundraising, but of course, volunteering, giving your time, giving your voice for the causes that you care most about. Any
Yeah.
sort of giving is celebrated on Giving Tuesday. So I'm really excited to have this conversation, and hopefully more than two or three people here will decide to do something on Giving Tuesday.
And I think that's it. Like, we're super excited to explore this more because I think one of these, even in the Australian and New Zealand market, we've seen that consumerism. We've seen that and the space for a movement. One of these I love that's like, it's always nice to get some taglines from your website, but you have this one where it's reimagine a world built upon shared humanity and generosity. And that it sounds like that time to centralize on that is so worthwhile. One of our questions would be for you is like, what why should non-for-profits get involved around this, and particularly sort of around the timings, and every space in our globe is different in regards to what's going on at that time of end of year, but how does it complement the things that are happening around that for the people that you see and the non-for-profits that you see involved, and why should they be getting involved?
That's a really good question, James, because you're right. In most of the world, they're not celebrating Thanksgiving. Frankly, they're not even celebrating Cyber Monday or Black Friday.
Mm.
So it may seem random, but throughout the years, what nonprofits have realized across the world is that number one, Giving Tuesday is not the only day that we're encouraging you to run a campaign.
Yeah,
It's the day that we're celebrating the anniversary of the movement.
yeah.
And so that kind of collectiveness and that kind of global storytelling that you're able to sort of jump on, I
Mm.
like to think about it more like a wave, right? The more people are riding the wave, the larger the wave is. Is that how it works? I bet people in
Yeah, in
Australia
Australia, is
know.
how it works.
So yes, it's kind of like a wave, and you want to join the wave. Now, you bring a really good point in terms of other appeals, other campaigns that may be happening in tandem
Mhm.
with the timing of Giving Tuesday. So the biggest thing I want to share is that Giving Tuesday is not here to replace any of your appeals. It is here
Mm.
to amplify and energize your appeals.
Yeah.
Globally, I would say from experience, nonprofits mainly use Giving Tuesday to kick off end of year campaigns, and they
Mm.
use that buzz to create momentum, to create visibility, and most
Yeah.
importantly, urgency. right? A lot of these campaigns kick off with a 24-hour period where you want people to sign up to do something,
Yep.
right? And so if you do, I'm sure we'll get a moment to share examples at some point, but let's say you do a match or you do some sort of challenge, right? You are able to now add a component of urgency to the, call it the kickoff, call it the first week, call it the first half of your campaign, right? I'm not too sure exactly when campaigns run for each of you, but whichever part it is, as long as it's somewhere in the beginning, you will be able to leverage that global storytelling. And the other thing I wanted to share was that a lot of nonprofits use it as a moment to experiment with
Yeah.
creativity,
Yeah.
try new things. Your campaign or your existing appeals, you got to nail those, right?
Yep.
Those have to
Yep.
be perfect. The one day for Giving Tuesday doesn't have to be perfect. It can be the
Mm.
moment where you try a new modality or a new format, or you encourage a new audience to participate in something with you, and you test it and you see. You know, one of the things, James, that we love to share from the side of the Giving Tuesday
Mm.
Data Commons, which is our data arm to our whole team globally,
Yep.
is that donors that first connect with nonprofits on Giving Tuesday are stickier than donors that meet you during the year.
And that's
Why
huge.
is that? It's
Mm.
huge.
Yep.
In America, I can tell you it's the number one day for donor acquisition for nonprofits. It's a huge thing. Now,
Mm.
why is that? Because we have fun. And that seems so
Yep.
simple.
Yep.
What do you mean we have fun? Well, the rest of the year, we are fundraising for ourselves, for our causes, so that we can exist.
Mm.
And I support that. Trust me, more than the next person wants you
Yep.
all to be
Yep.
fully funded and have
Yep.
everything you need. But on Giving Tuesday, you are celebrating our shared humanity. You're
Mm.
saying, I'm creating a change in the world through our organization. And there's this plethora of ways in which you can support that today, but not only support it, I want you to be a part of the change. So
Yeah.
maybe for donors that join you on that day, you try something new and you say, instead of just sending them their typical thank you email,
Mhm.
I'm going to say
Mhm.
thank you. And can you please share this with 5 people?
Yep.
I'm going to say thank you. And can you please join us for a block party that we're having next weekend and bring your people so that they can hear more about it? I could go on and on, James, but essentially treat it with creativity, treat it as a way of creating even more buzz and momentum around your other appeals, and join the global storytelling, right? Join this moment where over 100 countries participate, and trust me, you don't want to miss it.
I love this, man. We could talk all day about this, but I love how you express like it has a real synergy with any other campaign you may be running around it. I love the concepts of it's flexible enough to make what you need out of it and to be putting it into other experiences. But also getting people into a movement where I think we are seeing that the Cyber Monday and Black Friday is a movement. Like it's there to stay in the retail space. Why wouldn't we have a great movement that can just expand a lot of different awareness and opportunities in this? So yeah, it's synergy with it. I reckon it is a really great opportunity, particularly with digital fundraising, because you can do all sorts of fun things that are creative and fun, which is good.
100%, 100%. And James, you know what? One more thing is you're talking about synergies and celebrating. One thing that we preach, teach, and practice at Giving Tuesday is this
Mm.
notion that if we come from a place of competition, we can only achieve so much. But if we join forces,
Yep.
either with other nonprofits or other platforms, or just in general, joining
Mm.
forces, and we come from a place of abundance, what we're actually doing is not just expanding the piece of the pie that my nonprofit gets to
Yep.
benefit from in any
Yep.
given day, we're making the whole pie larger. We're
Yeah.
saying everyone should come out to give, regardless of where you choose to give.
Yep.
If my nonprofit has a cause that resonates with you and what we're doing, you know, jives with you, come along, join us for the party. But we ultimately want to create a larger and expand, I should say, the the pie in general of people giving in our countries.
And I love it because often there's a big misconception, like and that we see. And I think often we run by a real core assumption at Raisley that there's still a huge market of those who aren't giving. And it's rarely because they don't want to. It's more because there's not the opportunity in front of them that aligns with what they are needing. And I think that flexibility in that movement around Giving Tuesday can really be a great space to untap donors who at the moment just are not going to engage anyway. So yeah, cool assumptions and things to run by behind that. I'm really keen to sort of understand some fun examples maybe that you guys have seen of sort of small or mid-sized non-for-profits, which often kind of maybe look at these kind of concepts and we're like, oh, we may not have the resources to do it, or we may not have the energy to do it. And often it's like, oh, no, you can do this. I'm curious whether or not you have some examples of some mid-sized or small non-for-profits who have really got behind this.
Absolutely. And before I even share any examples, James, I would say two things. One, pick one thing, right? If you're small to mid-sized, don't drown in a glass of water. I'm all about the
Yeah.
water analogies today, apparently.
No, that's good.
Um, don't drown in a glass of water. Pick one thing that you're willing and able to test
Yeah.
and put it together well, right? Put together your hypothesis of why you think this could work, put
Mhm.
together the group of people that can help you bring it to life, and set some measurements, right? How would you know if you were successful? That's
Yep.
one thing that I think a lot of us forget is we can't just measure something by saying whether we did it or not, right? I said I would raise
Yep.
$10 and I raised $10. That doesn't tell me the impact that it had. It just
Yeah.
says that I did what I said I would do.
Yep.
So if you haven't looked them up, find a way to create SMART goals.
Mm.
Those are
Mm.
two quick things. And then be creative. It could be anything in the book. I'm happy to share a
Mm.
few examples, but if you need more examples, I'm sure Raisley has a few. I'm sure
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
more on our website. So please note these are not the definitive only ways of celebrating Giving Tuesday. But as I was thinking about coming here today to talk to you,
Mm.
I was trying to recall my favorite campaigns, James. So that's what
We
I'll share.
we all have our favorites, I promise you.
I'll share my personal favorites. So one of them was an environmental nonprofit in Canada. They
Mhm.
were mid-sized,
Yeah.
and they used Giving Tuesday to launch a peer-to-peer campaign. So
Mm.
they gave their
Mm.
supporters very simple toolkits. I'm talking 1 to 2 pages, right?
Yep.
Make them on Canva. Canva makes you look really good. I am not sponsored by them, but Canva plug.
We're actually doing a
Um,
webinar with Canva soon
oh, great.
because we're huge fans of Canva. So yeah, get on Canva.
Well, actually, if you go to Giving Tuesday and Canva, if you Google it, we have a whole suite of templates.
So good.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So this nonprofit, they created these really simple toolkits for supporters to fundraise on their behalf, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Peer-to-peer fundraising.
Yep.
And they brought in hundreds of new donors at what's I think most important and exciting at a fraction of the cost
Yeah.
that kind of outreach would have initially cost them.
Yep.
So that's one way, for example, saying, you know, James, you have been a supporter of ours the whole year. Of course, I would love to get more money from you today. But what I would love most is if you ran your own fundraising campaign for us with your friends, with your family, because that
Mm.
doesn't just give you the money that those people are willing to donate. It gives you the word of mouth that is the
Big time.
most expensive kind of marketing that there is. So
Yep.
that's one of my favorite ones. Moving to a different continent because we're
Yeah.
global. James, I got to give you global examples.
Mate, there's a lot.
And there's a lot. So in Latin America, there
Yeah.
was a health-focused nonprofit which
Mhm.
used Giving Tuesday to launch a matching gift challenge
Yep.
with one single corporate partner. So for all of those nonprofits out there that are like, I can't secure 10 different partners, secure one.
Just one. Yeah.
Start with one. And that single day of creating urgency in that campaign raised more than their typical average online giving month, right? So now you're talking about an entire day that you are putting all of your power and energy and marketing towards that
Yep.
can have huge results. Another way of doing so is asking for recurrent gifts.
Mm.
That's
Awesome.
a big, big opportunity.
Yep.
No pun intended, because they tend to be small,
That's all right. They're recurring.
but they're recurring and
Yeah.
they add up. They add up. And so I would encourage all nonprofits listening today, if you don't have a recurrent gift model as of yet, or if you do have it and you haven't been promoting it,
Mm.
maybe consider running your whole campaign around that, right?
Yep.
And saying, today we celebrate the generosity that doesn't stop. We celebrate the generosity that wants to keep
Mm.
giving and
Yeah,
that
I like it.
knows that it doesn't just take the one time of putting your hand in your pocket to make a difference.
Yep.
And talking about fundraising campaigns, I do want to shout out all the other types of campaigns that we could be running.
Yep.
And a reminder, English is my second language. Sometimes it comes out and I'm just like,
I'm
did
not
that
sure
sound?
if I'm not even sure if English is my first. So
And so a quick reminder that people, as you very well said, James, earlier, people
Mm.
want to be asked. They
Mm.
want to be asked to give. And what we as nonprofits tend to say when we only run fundraising campaigns,
Mm.
unfortunately, and maybe not all of you have considered it this way, but what we're actually saying when we only fundraise is, I really appreciate you wanting to create a change with us.
Yep.
But if you don't have those extra dollars, I actually have no way for you to participate.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. That's
So on Giving Tuesday, we want to really encourage all of us to think of ways to give people avenues to be a part of the change because they may not have the money today,
mm.
but if
Mm.
they are able to connect with you in other ways, right? I keep talking about storytelling campaigns.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to have everyone on your network share a story of when was the last time they gave to your cause,
Mm.
why they give
Mm.
to your cause. And now you have grassroots ambassadors.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be a very robust ambassador program with the whole thing. Again, you go on Canva, create a quick, asset toolkit or a graphic you can post on Instagram, and you
Mm.
say, on this day, we want to celebrate you, your stories,
Yeah.
and obviously, the byproduct is all this buzz, which you then get to leverage for your end of year campaign, right? Because we were
Which you
talking
totally do.
about
Yeah.
connecting,
Yeah.
connecting the campaigns. One last example,
Yeah.
although I could keep going, is on end of year giving, of course. So I would say actually not an example, a kind of wrap up on the examples would be
Mm.
for all of you nonprofits out there that consider yourselves to be small, mid-sized, sort of in that category. Giving Tuesday will serve you best when you pick one strong idea. As I said at
Mm.
the beginning, you make it easy for your community to
Yep.
join.
Yep.
So I've been mentioning the templates, the toolkits, that's all different ways of saying, please make it easy
Easy.
on people.
Yep.
They shouldn't have to figure it out for you.
Nope.
And I would highly encourage all of us to be connecting our Giving Tuesday campaigns to our end of year strategy,
Mm.
right? It shouldn't feel like additional work and it shouldn't feel like something that came out of nowhere that we are now doing to please anyone. It
Yeah.
should be fertilizer on the ground of our complete year
Great
campaign
way to put it. Yeah.
strategy and a reminder that it's just the day that we celebrate. You can celebrate generosity any day of the year, in addition to Giving Tuesday.
This is so good, Maddie. Like, I think one of the things I love is there are different campaign types you can apply to this. Like, it doesn't need, and so the examples you iterate, like one's doing a directive peer-to-peer for advocacy push, and one's doing just a simple match giving. Just find one partner, push people around excitement. But also, I love that point you're saying that it actually almost is a space where you can generate like content collateral that can actually be used all about into your end of year campaigns, which I think a lot of people struggle to find as well. And keeping it simple. One of the things I love, I built a little Raisley school course around Giving Tuesday, and I resonate with this because some of my favorite campaigns are the quickest ones to build because they're really effective and they allow people to do that other stuff as well that you're mentioning. Yeah, it's so good because it's not unreachable. I think is really where you're going with that. But for many non-for-profits, they'll be like, "What is my first best next step?"
Mm.
Tell me
Yes,
what is their first step that you recommend? What are maybe some key ingredients they need to be thinking through?
absolutely. I actually love the notion of ingredients because
Mhm.
it means whatever you grab from the pantry, you will end up with a good recipe, right?
Mhm.
So some of the best ingredients to put together a very easy, applicable, and a campaign that you can actually execute on time, I would say. Number one is this notion of what do you want people to do, right? Coming up with one clear call to action. And I know that we talked about giving people multiple ways of supporting, but you
Mhm.
have to think of the ways as like avenues they can take
Yep.
where the ultimate goal is still that one CTA, right? Join us today. What's the urgency? Why
Mhm.
today? I actually have a little equation if I can share with everybody.
Yeah, do
It's
it.
why this, why you, and why now.
Yeah, like it. Simple.
Simple.
You can do
If
that.
you tell why this, why me, right? Why do you need me to do anything for you or with you?
Mhm.
And why now? We're golden. So
Mhm.
creating one simple CTA, choosing the way you want people to contribute, right? So whether it is a donation, volunteering hours, sharing a story, make that super clear.
Yep.
Um, I would encourage all of us also to use the day as an excuse to be bold, right? Maybe this is the day you want to test some different type of marketing
Mhm.
or a different kind of CTA. It's just for the day.
Yeah.
Play with it. People expect fun. Community doesn't depress you, it reignites you. So
Yeah.
always think back to how am I creating community? Um, the other thing I'd say, the other ingredient in the pantry would be to leverage your existing supporters first. You've heard me mention
Mm.
a couple times now
Yep.
this notion of going to your supporters and asking them to do something for you.
Mhm.
Treat them if you don't have a board or if you have a small board, treat them like an extended board.
Yep.
Invite them to be a part of it and say, hey, we're thinking of doing this thing. We heard about it. It's called Giving Tuesday. Send them
Mhm.
some Instagram posts. What do you think? Approach it. When I first joined Giving Tuesday 5 years ago, our
Yep.
whole thing was approach it like a party. You're planning a party with your friends. You're asking everyone to bring something to the party. You're
Yeah.
asking those people to bring more people. And next thing you know, you have the best party in town.
Yep. Yep.
So ask your existing supporters to amplify your message, to share their stories, as we said, to create peer-to-peer campaigns. Maybe they want to host a giving circle
Mm.
for you and share the
That's right.
story of why they became involved with you in the first place.
Yep.
And that's what I would say, James. I think clarity, storytelling, and community are three golden ingredients. A clear ask, a human story, and a sense of being
Mm.
something bigger than yourself. There's no losing with that.
No, there isn't. This is great. We're totally like what we're building resources around people, like helping them see these ingredients, which is really good. And again, we're coming back to that flexibility. They can make their own. It can be creative and fun. Now, in my head, I'm always thinking that technology changes all the time, and there's things that people haven't tried yet. Um, Try them out. Like what's give it a crack, and see what comes out. But being very supporter centric too. One of the things not-for-profits will get to is that they want the year to wrap up, right? And not-for-profits are so busy all year round, and I think they get to the end of financial year campaign, they're like, "Great, now we can breathe," and that. But we do want to be thinking about what momentum can keep going after Giving Tuesday as well. So we've created a party, we've got end of financial year coming, and we've got a whole nother year of fundraising to follow that. How can non-for-profits keep that momentum going after Giving Tuesday?
That's a really good question because donors don't stick unless you help them stick, right?
Mm.
So I'd say my number one tip on that, James, is thanking your supporters. Thank them
Yep.
quickly and thank them in an authentic way, right? With the same momentum that you invited them to the party and asked them to bring something or someone after the party's over, make
Mm.
sure that you use gratitude as that bridge to
Mm.
engage them in a long-term support role. The other thing is we forget, but we need to share more stories.
Yeah.
You think you're posting enough, you think you're sending out enough emails. You're not.
You know, no.
You're not. Not because I don't think that you're not sending enough emails. We actually did a survey with MailChimp. We did a whole data study on the
Brad.
fact nonprofit professionals think that they're sending a lot of emails or too many emails because nonprofit professionals typically are signed up to more newsletters from other nonprofits than the average person is. So
Yeah.
we actually have a negative bias against the amount of emails that we're sending. So I'm here to tell you it's okay. Send more emails, post more on Instagram. You have my permission. You don't know me, but you have my permission. Okay. So posting our impact stories of what the generosity of these people made possible, even
Yeah.
if it's a little bit of progress, is a huge deal because people want to see progress.
Yeah.
They want to feel, we just said this, people want to feel like they're something, or to say part of something larger than themselves. The worst thing you can make someone feel as a donor in this donor funder relationship
Mm.
is making people feel like an ATM, making people feel like
Yeah.
at the moment when you needed them, you did everything in your power to get their donation and then forgot about them and will just call them up again next year for
Oh,
your
word.
end of year, right?
Yeah.
So thanking them, sharing stories, that would be great. Building on that new energy, I want all of us to turn Giving Tuesday donors and volunteers into monthly givers, into
Mhm.
recurring
Mhm.
volunteers, into our community advisors, right? Hey, you joined us at a time when we were having a lot of fun. What if you help us keep the fun going?
Yeah.
And I keep using this word fun, and I'm aware that not all of you are going to write fun in your emails, right? But I hope everyone's reading between the lines and
Yeah.
realizing that the attitude with which we run this campaign can totally determine the attitude with which we continue to engage those
Yeah.
supporters.
Yep.
And frankly, it's the attitude they're going to expect from us. We actually can't, James, if I invited you to a party today and you realized I'm really fun, and then I went back to being like corporate Madelaine, you
Yeah.
wouldn't want to come to the next party
No,
because
man.
I changed on you, right?
Yeah, 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 100%.
I changed on you. So whatever kind of energy and tone you bring
Mm.
into your Giving Tuesday campaign, please think that that's part of what sold people on
Yeah.
joining you that day.
Keep it up.
So keep it up. And as I said, many of our nonprofits use this day as a launch pad for end of year campaign or longer generosity initiatives.
Mhm.
And frankly, James, the real magic of Giving Tuesday is precisely that it's not just one day. We really appreciate having Raisley in a partner for Giving Tuesday for so
Yeah.
many of these amazing countries where you're based in. And in terms of finding assets to organize your own Giving Tuesday campaign, you can find them in the Raisley School. They will have assets ready for
Yep.
you to
Yep.
participate, how to use the platform for this big day. And if you're missing anything there, you can always head to givingtuesday.org and
Mhm.
you'll find tons of toolkits for yourself, for your potential partners. That's where also you'll find all of our logos. So everything is ready
Yep.
for you to take it up and to make it your own. We really, really
Yep.
enjoy watching every single nonprofit make it their own. So we're very excited to see what all of you come up with this December.
We can't wait to show you what they come up with as well, Madeline. And thank you so much for your time. It is so valuable. We are really looking forward to this movement growing year upon year. And we're thankful that you are in the driver's seat to make that happen. So thanks so much for joining us with Raisley, and we'll be sure to touch base down the track.
Thank you so much, James, and thank you, everybody.
No worries. See you, mate.